Hello and welcome to the coldest episode of the Sleeper podcast so far. We recorded this in a chapel in Wales because we were riding Dovey Bike Park for a weekend. I say it was a weekend, but it was during the week. So we all met up. We hadn't seen Aimi since filming the Pinkbike Racing series, which if you've watched that series, you'll know all about Aimi Kenyon, as she was pretty much the star of the show. It was her first year ever racing World Cups, and to do it underneath that team with Ben Cathro helping her out was a mad experience. So we talk about all that, the effect that the documentary had, how scary it was putting herself out there, but also the creepy DMs that she received as a result of that. And also she reveals why she was so quiet this off-season, which you'll find out if you listen to this podcast. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. I thought it was a great conversation, and but I'm biased because I had the conversation. So yeah, give it a watch, and yeah, let me know what you think.
Do I like scrolling?
Are you a regular scroller?
Yeah.
Of TikTok? Is it a problem, you think?
It's not an issue.
You don't think it's a problem?
No, I don't think it's an issue. It's nice to scroll before you go to sleep.
Do you ever think about like how much screen time that you have on your phone?
Yes.
And do you think what do you think about your screen time?
Are we podcasting?
Well, it is live.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It got really bad when I wasn't riding, but you like so today it'd be like less than an hour, which is good. Like you don't need to be on your phone. I quite enjoy when there's no signal because it's just nice.
And you think so? Well, we need to start from the start. I'm gonna get some water. You want a cup of water?
I would love a cup of water, please.
I'm gonna need one.
Oh, is this? Does it matter if this is in the shop?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right, Aimi Kenyon.
No way.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
So, people haven't really heard from you in quite a wee minute. Oh. So, I guess we should start at like the end of the season, and what's been happening from there with you?
Okay. Well, I guess in Leger World Champs, I had a crash on the big road gap.
And that was the one that we got on film, where you kind of washed the front.
Yeah, it didn't really look like anything bad or anything. I didn't really think much of it, except from afterwards. Like I had a really weird headache in the back of my head there, and I was just like, oh, just because I hit my head. Like, not. I was like hit my head, but it wasn't like anything serious or anything. And then got to Val d'Isole, which was the week after, and I just felt really like strange. I didn't really feel. I don't know. I was just like, maybe it's the end of the season, like
just really
hard
tired.
track and just tired, stuff like that. And then anyway, so I kind of just pushed past it. I was like, oh, it's fine. Like that, there was nothing wrong there. And then I'm pretty sure it was the week after that, there was a national, and I just went, I just had fun again. I wasn't really feeling like myself. I was like, oh, again, just tired. And then I got home and I was like, I'll take maybe 2 weeks break and then get back into riding again and stuff like that. And I got home and I literally like couldn't get out of bed. I was just felt really like not me, I guess. And everyone was just like, oh, you're tired, you have like such an amazing season away, like to come home just be weird, I guess. And I was like, yeah, but I feel like I kind of felt like it was more than tiredness. It was like proper like exhaustion. And then I was getting these really weird dizzy spells, like just randomly I'd be walking along and like my vision would just go like fully black, and I'd be like, oh, this is not normal. And I don't usually go like, if anything's wrong, I'll just be like, oh, it's fine, whatever. But maybe a few weeks into this, I was like, yeah, something's definitely not wrong. So I went to the doctors, got loads of like blood samples and everything, and they were pretty much like, yeah, you're fine. And I was like, oh, okay, that's good to know. And then,
was this NHS? So you went to like a
just like a regular doctor. And then anyways, they were like, yeah, you're fine. And then maybe 2 weeks later, I went back again because I was like, what is this? Like, I'm really like...
Yeah, are you actually going unconscious when you say you're getting these black, or is it just your vision's going?
I don't know. It just feels like if I'm just standing up randomly, or not standing up, just like stood up, it just... Do you know sometimes... If you like close your eyes really tight, you see like stars. It was just kind of like that, but
like a fuzz,
like a flash fuzz, and then it'd be like everything was like this, and then
So your balance interrupted as well.
Yeah, that's like, hold on. I'd be like, oh, yeah. And then
Not
just walk
ideal.
on from it. But yeah. And anyways, then I went back to the doctors again. I was like, right, like, I'm a really, like, fit and healthy person. Like, this is not me. And then, yeah, they didn't really say anything. They went down, like, the road of maybe it's something to do with my heart. So I got given a heart monitor. That took a month for me to get it. And then I wore a heart monitor for like a week or something. And I still haven't got the results back for that, actually.
Really?
And that was December. And what's it now? Mid-January. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that's NHS as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the problem. It's like you have this great national health service. It's amazing that we even have that because they don't have that in America. But
yeah.
Christ, they're slow
They
at
are
the moment.
very
They're
slow.
understaffed and yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't even know. And then I was like, oh my God, it's my heart. I'm going to die. And then, yeah, I never really thought it was anything to do with that. But then I did mention, I was like, well, after this crash I had in, like, at a race, like, I hit my head, and afterwards, it's kind of just been since then. I've not been feeling like myself, like, looking back on it. And they were like, yeah, it's not that. And I was like, oh, okay then.
Wow.
Yeah, like, they fully just blew it off. They were like, yeah, that's not a possibility.
How is that not a possibility?
I know,
That's-
like, listen to me.
What?
And then I guess even all, like, the symptoms I was telling them and stuff like that, like, they never really took anything from it. Like, sensitivity to light and stuff like that, and just, like, really, like, weird things. And then also, with, like, my speech, so there would be, like, not like that, but I was just overthinking that. I'd, like, not be able to get my words out.
Right.
It'd be really, like, strange, and I'm not usually like that. I get stuck on, like, a word, be like, yeah, and then I'd have to take a moment and then go back onto it. And I kind of noticed that. I think my family probably noticed all the changes the most, obviously, because I'm around them. And yeah, and then I'm telling the doctors all this, and they're like, yeah, it's your heart. And I was like, no, but it's not. And then anyway, so I think it was through Ben, I think it was. And then obviously Reese to Ben, and then Ben said it to me, this brain collective based down in, like, Leeds way is like they kind of, like, specialize in concussions and stuff like that. And I still wasn't really 100% sure if that was what it was. But anyways, we went down, I got a scan and stuff like that, and they were pretty much like, yeah, that's what it is. I think it was the back of my head and the front of my head, so it looked like my brain had gone like this.
Right, yeah. Like, yeah, right.
And I don't know. To me, that was just a bit of a shock, I guess, because it wasn't really anything major. And the only other time I had a big head hit was in Innsbruck when I fainted at the food truck. And that was the back of my head, but that wasn't.
How did you
anything.
faint at the food truck?
Oh, do you not know about this?
No, I don't know about this.
Do you not?
No, I was probably editing.
Oh, yeah. One day, me and Jackson were just waiting for food at a food truck, and I felt really sick. Like, I thought I was gonna throw up, and then I just fully fainted.
No
and obviously
way.
Jackson had his broken arm, and he tried to catch me with one arm, and I just was on the floor, and I just woke up, and I was like, there's loads of people around me, like, feeding me water and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, interesting.
But you
Okay.
didn't think that the crash that you had in Leger was enough to give you a concussion?
No, I don't think so. I don't really know.
It's
Yeah.
funny because there's not much awareness of, and there's not much of a protocol for knowing if it's a concussion, and it took you
Yeah.
that long, and even the NHS is saying, nah, it's not that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. And also, like, to think that was 5 months ago is kind of mental. Like, for the past 5 months, I've literally been unable to do anything. And it's not even like I've felt like doing anything. Just doing nothing was nice. Like, I was sleeping at least 16 hours a day. Like, overnight I'd sleep like maybe 12, 13 hours, and I'd get up maybe for an hour or something, and then sleep again, and then wake up, and then go back to sleep, and then that'd be my, like, sleep for the night. And, like, I just always felt tired. But yeah, it was a strange one. But I'm feeling a lot better now, which is good. This is my first proper ride, I guess.
Yeah, so where are we?
We're in Dovey,
Yeah,
first time
lapping.
lapping. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know why I've not been here before.
I know, it's stunning, isn't it? I mean, you
Yeah.
are pretty far away in
It is
Inverness.
a little bit far, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and so you're just getting back to the point of been able to ride now. So
Yeah,
would you say you're back to 100% or where?
I think no, but I think I'm definitely getting there, which is good. And then I've just started going back to the gym as well the past like couple of weeks, which is nice. I'm very sore, I'm very unfit.
Yeah, you will be. But I mean, you've had like a proper off season, I suppose. I mean, it's
true,
not
like,
obviously not the ideal circumstances.
it's not all bad. Like, I mean, I got a break.
Yeah, you got a break, so at least you'll be amped to, get going again.
But yeah, I miss the gym. Like, I really enjoy going to the gym over winter. And then I was just like, oh, well, no gym for me. But I'm back now.
You can
We're
do it
back
now.
riding.
That's sick.
Yeah, I got another scan in 2 weeks' time. So hopefully that'll be like an all clear. And if not, then I don't really. I'm pretty positive it will be because I'm feeling a lot better.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah, hopefully in the future there'll be. I mean, have you heard of the HIIT device?
Yeah, for like when you have like a certain impact. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully
Stuff
it's
like that,
a bit more normalized that's like people are wearing a device like that where you can tell numbers wise, because then you would have been able to at least
and then I feel like
make the decision
with like, I don't know, say like a broken arm, it's broken and you know it's broken. I feel like with your head, you just don't know.
Yeah,
So
but that's it. In the future, we will know. It's
yeah,
like
which will be a good thing because
Yeah.
then you'd be like, oh, actually.
It'll like be on your watch or something.
Yeah,
you
you'd
know?
be like, don't ride.
Yes,
Stop.
You shouldn't ride today. But it's like such a long lead time on the time off as well. Like that's 5 months that you had to take off.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's weird how like you were able to go the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think
kind of all right, you
really
know?
strange. Like, what was it? Even in Val di Sole, I think I did 3 or 4 practice runs. Like, I did hardly anything, and I was like, yeah, this is not normal. But then I didn't really say anything to anyone, which is partly my fault. Like, I should have been like, yeah, I don't feel good and stopped riding. But I think I was really like just committed to just finish the season. But yeah, I think it also took like a little bit of just like a step back from everything to realize like that was what was wrong, I guess.
Let's just kind of linger on the Pinkbike race season, because obviously that was pretty big.
Yeah.
Big deal, that. Yeah, how was your first year? Because that was your first season racing World Cups, you know.
It was pretty incredible. I think a lot different than what I imagined it to be. But
In what way?
In a better way, I think.
A better way?
Yeah. I think seeing it from like a TV perspective, I feel like you just see all like the professional riders as like, oh, scary people. And then you get to know them and everyone's like, they're just normal people.
They're just people, yeah.
Yeah, like they're not any different. We've got a big social platform, really good at riding bikes, but they're still people.
Like who was like,
I don't know, just
who did you build up in your head?
I don't know.
As like
I don't know, just random people. And then they just chat to you and you're like, oh, you're like famous. Hi.
yeah, it's like, it's funny because you see all these names, you see all these faces on,
Yeah.
and then you get there and you're like, oh, there they are.
Oh.
And they're all there at once.
all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like also because it was quite a big leap because the year before, 2021 was my first year even like racing a national.
At all, yeah.
Yeah, like, so it was, I kind of just went from Scottish 1 year, next year nationals, next year World Cup. So like there wasn't really like a big time in between everything, if that makes sense. And then tracks are, I don't really know, different than I imagined. Some parts easier, some parts harder. I've just been swinging on this chair, just realised
You should be as close to the mic as you can. Which parts are easier and which parts are harder? That's quite interesting.
Some, obviously on TV the jumps look tiny. And in real life they were a lot bigger than I thought. Just, I don't know, some of like the like rougher stuff, like it's still really, really difficult. But then also at the same time, there was like kind of like an obvious line down it that was like, okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And also like the lengths of the track, I was a wee bit worried about that at the start of the year because we don't really have anything except from Fort William that's like super long. But I feel like I managed pretty good at that as well.
So you feel like technically you were able to get down the tracks. The challenging part was more going fast.
Yeah, going fast was definitely a big challenge. It's just scary. Like telling yourself not to brake is like the hardest thing.
I know, it's funny. I watched an interview with Greg Minar on Vital, and he was just like, it's crazy how complicated it is, but also how simple it is.
Simple it is, yeah.
It's like, you just need to not touch the brakes.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
You know, I don't even know. Like, you overthink it so much. You're like, oh, but if I don't brake, then... But yeah. I think that would have been something I wanted to work on for this season.
Just kind of like commitment.
Yeah, definitely. And just also like being like, oh, it's okay. Like, nothing bad's going to happen if you don't brake.
Yeah, in the right places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was it like with that team in particular? You know, I think it's one of the best teams in the pits, but I'm totally biased.
No, I think I couldn't have had a better team for my first year to be in. I think there was no like pressure or anything, which I think I don't know, I've not been in another team, but I feel like I maybe would have felt the pressure a wee bit more in a different team, and everyone just gets on really well. It just kind of feels like normal, I guess. Like, it's not, to go away is like exciting. It's like, oh, I get to see everyone again.
No, it's going to be well good. Even just being down here. It's
it's nice to see everyone again, like catch up.
How was the process of you actually getting approached about being on the team? Like, how did that all go? Like,
I wasn't even really like looking. I think it was my dad. I think he sent me like a link to like an application form, and I was like, oh, what's this? And he was like, oh, it's some like World Cup team that might happen, and blah blah blah. And anyways, I filled it in on the way on a bus on the way to school in the morning, and yeah, I filled it all in, and then I like didn't have any service, so I couldn't like submit it, so I'd like left it, and then I came back and it had all like disappeared, and I was like so heartbroken because I just wrote in this huge like thing, you know, like personal statement bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know what I wrote, but anyways, what I wrote was obviously good because Ben obviously liked it. But yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting to get it. Like, I submitted and I was like, oh yeah, whatever, and then I got the email and Ben was like, oh, we want you, and I was like, oh, okay.
Pretty perfect in terms of like, it helps with location. Like, you were local-ish to Ben, and yeah, you were just clearly somebody that needed the support.
Yeah, I think it made this year a lot easier. I was also thinking about this the other day. I think after Lourdes, if I hadn't had the team, I think I would have been quite reluctant to race anymore.
Oh wow.
It's quite a big statement, but Lourdes like really like petrified me. So yeah, I think without like the team support and stuff like that, I really would have been like shook from
how hard that was.
Yeah. And like the whole just the World Cup, you know, like the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a baptism of fire with Lourdes for sure, with like the big last drop and all that stuff.
I don't even look at that. I just did it was it Quali Run?
Quali.
Yeah,
remember you still hadn't done it, and it was kind of, I was like, yeah, Amy still hasn't done the drop. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, she's gonna do it in a race run.
Yeah. The only 2 times I did it that weekend was Quali and race, and I didn't even look at it in between. I think if I looked at it, I would have scared myself. And
you hurt your ankle on that first one.
I did hurt my ankle on that.
That's a big drop.
That was a big drop. That was a big weekend, actually.
Huge weekend.
Yeah.
First ever World Cup. I mean, that's not going to be. It's not going to be.
Not going to be easy.
Nah.
Walk in the park. Yeah.
So, yeah, like you say, like you weren't. After that, you might have been like, oh, I don't know if this is. I don't know if I'm quite. Yeah, I don't know if I'm quite ready, or you know.
Mm-hmm.
How sort of into the idea of being a racer are you now?
A lot. I think this is definitely what I would want to do in the future. Like, I don't really have any backup plans. I feel like I probably should just in case, but I don't know. I don't really see myself doing anything else. Like,
sick.
I don't really, an office job. I feel like that's just not for me.
No, I think if you want it, it's totally there. Like, that's clear to see.
Yeah.
And it's just like a few technical skills and stuff like that are totally workable on, but I think the mindset is there.
The thing is, I think apart from Lourdes, I think I dealt with everything better than I thought I was going to do, actually. Like, I don't know. Especially at the end of the season. I kind of...
Yeah, so at what point were you still a bit like not sure how much you want it, like halfway through the season? And was there a distinct change at any point?
I think Fort William was like the big changer. Like, I think Lourdes actually helped Fort William because I went into Fort William with like no expectations. I was just like, yeah, like this is really hard. Like top 10 would be my goal, I guess. And then I podiumed. And then I was like, oh, I like this. This is what I want to do.
Fucking right. Yeah, that was amazing. I
feel like that was a bit of a shock. That was, yeah. I don't even know how that happened.
It was amazing. You made a lot of people very, very happy that day.
Yeah.
It was, I wasn't like kind of that involved with it in the finish area. I can't remember where I was. I think I was filming you either at the top or somewhere in the middle.
I think you're at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was looking over the footage, because like we tagged the footage at the end of the day, and
it was mental at the bottom. It was proper.
Yeah, but like Glenn got a shot of like you coming across the line, and then you sat on the hot seat, and then he like turned to Ben, and he's crying, and then turned to your dad, and he was crying as well, and I was sat watching the footage like. I was
so emotional.
Oh, it was unbelievably emotional. Something about Fort William. I mean,
home race, I guess.
Yeah, totally. But it's just always emotional there.
It is
because it's always like the home people as well. Like,
yeah, like you know a lot of people there. It's just quite nice.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking about Worlds this year?
Got my ideas. No, that would mean a lot to me to do really well there. I think that's probably one of my main goals this season. Yeah, a lot of family are coming to watch and stuff like that, so it'd be quite nice to show them as well.
And who do you think would get in the way of your goals at Fort William next year?
I don't really know who's all in the category next year. I haven't really looked into it that much because I guess the top girls that were ahead of me in the overall are all
moving
second
up.
year. They're all moving up. But there's definitely some really fast girls as well that were in the category last year, and also that'll be moving in as well. So it won't be easy, but it's definitely.
I can't remember her first name, but is it Sanchez?
Oh,
Spanish.
Valentina.
Valentina.
Yeah, she's
go.
really quick. I think she's really good at like carrying speed. I think from what I've gathered, like Andorra, I think she did really well there. And Lachey, third at Lachey. Yeah, quite fast tracks. That's definitely one I need to work on. But yeah, no, there's definitely girls that are super fast. It's not going to be... Yeah,
it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not going to be easy. You're
No.
going to have to fight for it, but I think that's what I want to do. So
Sick. How long have you actually been riding bikes for? Because like I'm thinking like the female category is getting so much more competitive now. It's like it's almost like people are starting quicker.
Yeah, maybe 9. I did my little like dirt crits, so like local races round near me, and then maybe 9 or 10 I did my first downhill race in Innerleithen, and I had to borrow a full face helmet off someone. That was pretty fun. And then I guess like the start of my like bike journey was more towards cross country. And
yeah, you told me this today.
We
I didn't know this.
Really?
No.
Yeah, cross country and a little bit of cyclocross, not much, but yeah, I was really into cross country.
Are you racing? Like
yeah, just SXC, like the Scottish series. But yeah, that like the scene of cross country is so different to, like the downhill scene. Like,
in what way?
I feel like the parents are like so competitive. Like in downhill, I feel like it's a lot more chill, whereas in cross country, it felt like really like proper full on. And it was just like it was a Scottish race. It wasn't anything huge, but it felt like parents were like watching to see what you're doing and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm just here for fun.
It's almost that like, by the way, can you just check that it's still got the square? Has it still got the square in your...
Yes.
Yeah,
it does.
perfect. Yeah, it's like that kind of moto, like you hear about moto dads
Yeah.
and things like that.
That was
you know?
literally like, I don't really know what that's like, but that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, like that sort of parents pouring everything into it sort of thing. And
Yeah.
that you think with cross country, it's almost like there's a bit more discipline involved as well. The training's a lot more
Yeah, a lot
regimented.
more.
There's a bit more sort of, I don't know, like, yeah, like suffering almost to
Yeah.
get to that
Yeah.
point. So the parents are probably quite disciplined
Yeah.
as it
As
is.
that is, yeah.
Yeah. So what made you switch over?
Soundhill's better, I guess. In my opinion. But yeah, and then for a year, I think it was, I was doing both. And then I was like, yeah, I want to do downhill. But then I always thought that I'd end up doing enduro. Because obviously
That's
a
the
mix,
in-between.
a mix of both. I was like, yeah, that's probably where I'll end up. But here we are. I definitely don't have the fitness for enduro.
Not right now, anyway.
No.
Maybe in the future you might
Maybe,
give it
yeah.
a go.
I need to get some training in. Get some cross country training. Some, what's it called? Turbo training.
Some turbos. Yeah, it's a mad one. It's good though to have experience with like a variety of different
Yeah.
stuff. Like there was a podcast with Miriam. I didn't actually listen to it, but I got told by Glenn
Mm-hmm.
that Miriam, in France, they basically have these clubs. I don't exactly know how it went, but basically they make all of the young riders ride all of the disciplines.
Oh wow.
Like growing up. So you have to do like this day you're going to do cross country, this day you're going to do downhill, this day you're going to do whatever other
Yeah.
thing that they do.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's good to, like when you're young to like do all of them.
Yeah, like explore.
Mm.
I couldn't like imagine like if I was younger, like not doing a sport, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Like I don't know.
Were your parents quite sporty?
Yeah, I'd say so. I feel like from like a very sporty family, which obviously helps. But yeah, like
And a family full of brothers as well.
older
yeah.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of definitely helps.
I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of toughen you up.
Totally. It's totally a thing though. And then you go onto the circuit like with a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Like just getting on with guys as well.
Mhm.
Like I guess even growing up, like when from riding and stuff like that, my whole like friend group back home was just all guys. There wasn't really any girls. But then I'd imagine from like the outside, if I had sisters, I feel like it probably would be a lot harder.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like it's a different vibe.
Yeah, it's a masculine dominated area, you know.
yeah,
it's,
like you need to get on.
yeah, totally. And even like where you and Jackson kind of ended up like with like a almost like brother sister sort of
yeah.
thing going on, and it was just Jackson was being so savage sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
You just have to take it.
and you can just totally take it. Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot.
And where your dad and stuff, like how was their sort of support and stuff in the
I think
downhill
just like
side?
the perfect amount, not like too pushy, just like there like to support, I guess.
Mm.
Like everything I needed. Like I was really lucky with that. Like they were very like invested in what I wanted to do, which is really lovely. Yeah, I couldn't have really had it better, to be fair.
Mm. Yeah. And did your dad was he always coming to the races with you? Like,
Yeah, like even at the World Cups, like he still came out to watch most of them.
yeah.
Like, yeah. And I think it helps, like, if your parents are, like, interested in riding as well. I think for, like, if my parents didn't ride, it would have been, I guess, a little bit more difficult because we get to go to all these places and they can ride as well. So it makes me feel, like, better that they still get to do something.
Yeah, they're
that
still enjoying
like,
them.
enjoying, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas some parents are just like, it's like a complete
Yeah,
sacrifice.
like, unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want their kid to play
Rugby.
golf. Yeah, or anything else. And it's like they're wanting to ride their bike, what an inconvenience.
Yeah.
This is kind of a weird one, but are you ready?
I don't know. You scared me.
No, it's just like, I guess throughout the year you've received a bit of attention. Have you had any sort of weird, creepy DMs?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I knew the answer,
Yeah.
but
I don't really look through my DMs.
that's probably for the best.
Yeah. No, I think maybe mid-season there was probably at least like 250 or something like that.
Wow.
And I remember sitting in the car with Tivo and he was like, do you not answer them? And I was like, no, I don't really want to look at them. And he was like, well, you should. Like, you need to get back to people who message you. So then that night I was thinking, I was like, oh, well, maybe if there's something like really important there, I should probably like look through it. And I was looking through it and I was like, oh my God, this is not very nice to look through.
Maybe like say them carefully, but like what kind of things are people?
I don't know, just like, some of them were nice. Like, to be fair, some of them
are really heartwarming.
yeah, and I was like, oh, thanks. But
Yeah.
then others, I was like, yeah, maybe not. I can't even like think of any. I've got them all deleted, but just like some weird stuff. We'll just go with that. Yeah, some of them were nice. They were like, oh my darling princess, like you're the best writer in the world, and I was like, oh, thanks.
That's so mad. Like, what's that like? I don't know. Like because you've kind of went from not really
not really anything like that. It was, I don't know, it was a bit of a leap, I guess. And also never really been on any like videos and stuff like that. So like so much like exposure, I guess.
Totally. Like, what do you think? Because I know what happens with these things. Like it happened with Reese, and it happens with everyone that does it. Like when you go through that process of having something like that made about you, it's amazing the magical effect that it has on people in terms of like the way that they feel like they know you and they relate to you, and like they're straight in, you know. And that's why I figured you'd probably have a bunch of creepy DMs, you know, because you're a nice looking girl, like not to be like it's as simple as that. It's so people are watching and they're just enamored by you.
Yeah, they're like, I know her, like I know her personally.
Yeah, but it's flattering, but then
also it's like, yeah, but. And then you click on like some people's like profiles and they're like married or something, and you're like, no, you can't do that. That's not allowed.
That's mad. Yeah, like what do you think about like the effect of the series? Like what did you think about the process of us making a documentary about the whole thing, and like how did that go? Was that scary? Like
it was extremely scary having a camera pointed in your face. But no, I feel like I warmed into it a little bit. You probably noticed that as well.
Definitely.
But and even this, like, I was scared to be on here.
It's scary. It's like you have to put yourself out there. Like, but I remember that first sit down interview that we did with you.
That was quite tragic.
Yeah, and it was just like, but it was fine and it was perfect, and we needed to do that to like
get into it. You have to start somewhere.
But yeah, like you're also super young and you've never done anything like that, and it's like, oh my God, all these big cameras and stuff. Like, it's not just like a little camera. It's like all these big cameras, like lights and stuff like that. And there's like 3 guys that are like, right, what should we ask her?
You know, a day ago, and they're like,
do you want to ask you stuff? But yeah, like, what do you think about the how the documentary turned out? And
I think it was a million times more than what I expected. Like, it was quite incredible. I think I'm really glad that we did it as well. Like, to think that I've got that to look back on like for the rest of my life, to be like, oh, that's my first year racing World Cups, like go back and see it all. And it's so like real as well. It's not like, if that makes sense. So you kind of like connect with it. And then, but also like when the first one came out, was that Leo Gang? Yeah, it came out, I think it came out on my birthday actually.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And
it was about you mostly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was kind of like the team, but then
she has to jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember like as soon as that came out, I just sat and looked at all the comments. Like everyone told me not to. They were like, yeah, don't do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it anyways. But they were actually all really nice. So that kind of put me at ease a little bit, I guess. But then, I don't know, even if there was something negative, I feel like I just would have been like, you know, you don't know me. So like.
Yeah, the internet's a strange place because you can put something out there and it might have a certain way or certain people are commenting, but ultimately it really doesn't matter at all to you, and it shouldn't, but you let these things affect yourself. So yeah, I think we sort of told you like not to look at the comments.
Like, don't do that.
We were worried about like, you know, because it's Pinkbike as well. Like
Pinkbike's pretty savage.
Yeah, it's like a snake pit. Like people are savage in the comments. So I don't know. We were just worried about the effect that it'd have.
Yeah, no, I think we were quite lucky. I think in most of the videos as well, like they had a really good Well, all the videos actually, everyone seemed to really enjoy them.
Yeah,
I didn't really
it's
hear
that
anything
honesty.
negative about them.
No,
so.
it's that honesty again. It's that transparency. And just like sort of reflecting the moment for what it actually is, as opposed to trying to make it seem a certain way or make it seem better than it is. Even like we put it all out there, and that's
like even the bad stuff.
Yeah, and that's scary at first, and it could be embarrassing as well. But like that's the real situation. So it's like you almost have to subscribe to raw, like radical honesty. Is the best way to make.
Was it Lourdes? I think. After I crashed, I was crying, and I was like, oh my god, no, I don't want the camera to see me cry. But
in 10 years from now, as you say, it's like you'll be able to watch like young Aimi.
And then also it's nice to like show that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, I guess.
Totally. Yeah, people just don't understand how like emotionally.
Yeah, like a roller coaster.
Yeah, and people don't show, especially junior females as well. But like I think the female category in general is sort of uncapitalized on, except your Rachel Arthurtons, and you would, I think Tanya as well is probably pretty well documented.
Like pretty out there.
But then like you don't hear much
about really anyone else. There's no like series or stuff like that. There should be. It'd be so interesting to see that, and I think. Also, for me, like coming in, that would have been good to have to see, and to be like, oh, it's okay to get upset over stuff, or to be like disappointed. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like girls are almost more like they wear their heart on a sleeve a bit easier than guys as well.
Yeah.
So then it almost makes it easier to make a story because they're wearing it on their sleeve. You know.
Yeah, you just let it out.
Yeah, exactly. So. I don't know. Yeah, I would like to see a lot more, and hopefully there's focus on that category as the new rule set.
That would be really good.
The season was just amazing.
It was pretty.
Like, what do you think?
Except from Andorra, I think that was my lowest. Lowest peak. How would you say that?
Your lowest trough.
We'll go with that lowest trough of the season. Yeah, I think I got myself so worked up about that track. And I think maybe for a lot of people that was probably one of the easier tracks, I guess. There wasn't really anything majorly technical on it. It was just so fast.
And the doubles and the drops.
All the jumps. Ugh. That finish line jump as well. That was
horrific.
I did that for the first time in quali as well, I think.
So like the drop. So you went around the drop most of the time and then you went off it in finals. Yeah. Typical Aimi move.
It's my iconic move. Maybe not so iconic, but
we definitely need to get you doing those features
sooner.
ASAP.
This should be easier, I think, because most of them I'll be like, oh, well, I've done it. So it should be hopefully a little bit easier mentally.
Yeah.
To get over them.
Because once you're doing the features, then you can think about.
Yeah, like even
because the features are normally not the important part either.
No, like
it's a lot better to carry speed on that awkward off camber than it is to do the jump or whatever.
And then also like if you like I do like leave it to the end of the day, like subconsciously you think about it, so you're not fully like focused,
engaged, and you're just thinking about it. Like you've started the run, but you're just thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna have to do that step up right at the bottom. Yeah,
I think maybe ironically, probably the race that I was probably the most confident at on a jump was Leger. I think like that step down, like I crashed on it, but then the run after I did it, like
you bounced up straight away, because that was me that filmed that clip.
Yeah,
you bounced up straight away and then you pulled off, and then I was like, yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I did it again next run. I was like, I was gonna go around it, and then I was like, actually, if I go around it, I'm just gonna build it up in my head. So I just did it, and I did it fine. And then I also crashed on it again, the practice run before finals.
I didn't know that.
Did you not?
No.
Surely. I'm pretty sure I said that, no?
Maybe I just can't remember.
Yeah. It was really rainy, and like I watched everyone else go around it, and I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to do it, because why are they not doing it? And then I crashed.
Similar thing, like...
Yeah, literally like really similar, but like a kind of more like a belly slide. It was fun.
Yeah, it's weird how you kind of build up some in your head, but then others...
Yeah. Like, and if anything, that should have been one that I did build off my head because I crashed on it. But I was like, actually, I can do it. But yeah.
How crucial has Ben been in you learning and growing throughout the year?
I think very crucial. I think Ben's helped a lot, especially with like, I guess, confidence side of stuff. Like Ben would be like, well, I know you can do it. And I'd be like, oh, well, Ben said I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also very truthful, which is nice. So if there's something, he'd be like, well, this will be a little bit harder to do, so you actually have to like actively like pull up or something. And then in other jumps, he'd be like, no, this is chill, you'll just like cruise over it. Which I think's helpful. Gives like a nice gauge.
Are you excited for more of that next year?
I'm very excited for more of that next year.
It's going to be good.
Today I followed Ben down the jump line. What's it called?
Like at the bottom? I don't know if it's got a name. It's like just jumps. Diffy.
Oakley line.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then from like the second drop, like we just went down and I just followed Ben and I just kind of cruising over everything. And I was like, oh, this is nice.
Oh,
I think I just feel like quite, I don't know, I trust Ben a lot. So I just follow him like, oh, Ben's going the right speed, so it's okay.
Yeah, I really don't mind dropping in behind Ben. You know,
yeah, you just feel really safe.
Yeah, he's going to be all right. And he doesn't go ham either. Like,
no,
he doesn't.
It's just like, he makes everything look really chill.
Yeah, and he doesn't go that fast when he's practicing unless he's really like just trying to put some runs down.
It's
like
quite comforting, I guess.
Yeah, he's like really sensible.
Yeah.
I think it's just because he's a dad now as well. It's like he's gotten even more sensible.
That, like flicks a switch in your brain, like
he used to be
parenting.
Yeah, you got to be responsible. Yeah, he was a bit more reckless for sure before having a kid. Like even with just filming riding segments and stuff like that, there's still that like he gets excited and he really wants to just hit something really hard and ride like that. But before he had a child, he was definitely a little bit more on the reckless
on
side.
The edge.
Yeah, if you watch like Slice of British Pie, I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
With Ben's segment when that
was incredible.
Yeah, and he's like, how is he still like going forward? He's like wobbling around all these
you should be on the floor.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That was such a mad segment.
Yeah, I didn't really, I guess I've like known Ben for a while, but not really known him, if that makes sense. Like,
you know him through the internet.
Yeah, and I did some coaching when I was like really young. And then what was it, the SDA Academy thing? Like they choose like people from the Scottish races to get like coached, and I think it was Ben and I can't remember who the other person was. But yeah, and then it was just coaching and I was like, oh my god, Ben's coaching me today. So it's pretty, I feel like it's pretty full circle to then be on the same team as him again now.
Oh, that's perfect. What kind of, because we were talking about like internet people, like knowing people on the internet, just thought of films in general, like what films did you watch that were, like what mountain bike films are you into, like, or did you not really sort of?
I went to Madeira probably a wee while ago now, and then I remember before I went I was looking up like loads of videos and stuff like that to see what it was like, and I came across Death Grip. There's a Madeira section in that, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the coolest thing. And then from there I think I just kind of went down like a YouTube video vibe for like finding riding and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I want to do that, like I want to be like that. But yeah, it's pretty mental.
So how, like, in terms of so you got Death Grip, you watch any other sort of like big mountain bike films?
It's called Gamble?
Gamble, yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. Well, that's really all I can think of.
I mean, those are two.
And I feel like they're the two like up there ones.
Banging, but you've not seen 3 Minute Gaps?
No, we were talking about that, weren't we?
Yeah, because this is Jackson's like favorite film of all time.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's. I
should watch that though.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, a little bit before that time, and.
Yeah, like a little bit pre.
But it's like it encompasses all of like a load of the riders instead of just one or two. Whereas I feel like now it's like everyone's gets in their own lane and deals with their own team now. Yeah. But that 3 Minute Gaps,
like
it kind of had
collective thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that until like Jackson brought that up, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Jackson watched that like 3 times throughout the season. Like he would just do it like whenever he had a spare minute, he would put on 3 Minute Gaps. It's like, that's insane. Yeah, it's almost a cliche. Like 3-minute gaps is like a when you ask people like what's their favorite movie, like that's what people say. Like it's almost a cliche at this point. It's like kind of ridiculous.
Everyone's seen it except for me.
Except from you, yeah. You should definitely watch that. But in Death Grip, the Schladming segment.
Oh, I love that.
Where it's like completely no music.
It's just like flat out.
And it's like a lot of it's on GoPro and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. I think just how much fun they have in it as well.
Yeah.
Like it's just
so authentic. Like Josh Biceland and Brendog as well. Mm-hmm. What's your kind of idols of the sport, I suppose? Who do you look up to?
I guess coming into it, it was always like Rachel. I remember I used to always watch Rachel, like the Athertons.
The Atherton Project.
Yeah.
So the same guy that made the Atherton Project made 3-minute gaps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Clay Porter.
I would like religiously watch that over and over. And then I guess then kind of Tani came a little bit like later than Rachel. And then I was like, oh, Tani. And then it was like Miriam was like up there. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many girls. But yeah, I think just a little bit of like all of them, I guess. They're all quite, from like a social media perspective, I feel like they're quite different. Like they give off different vibes through like even like Instagram and stuff like that. Different writing styles as well, which is quite cool.
Who do you think you're the closest to in terms of style?
I don't really know.
You're not. You're totally on your own.
I'm so unique.
Yeah, you're a unicorn. That's it.
A brand. That was the first thing. It was one of the first things you said to me. You, Max. No, you're Max. You, Glenn, and Harry used to run me like, Amy, you are a brand. And I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into?
We were just like trying to make you like understand this weird situation that you just gotten into yourself into, and like you had that unicorn on the bike, and I was just like, yo, what is that? Like, is that your thing? And you were just like, yeah, there's a unicorn. I was like, you need to make this a thing.
And I was like, yeah, it's on my old bike and it's on this bike.
It's like this is your brand.
This is you.
You are a unicorn. I was like, oh, did you do that because did you do that because you knew it was the national animal of Scotland?
And I was like, what? Is it?
And I was like, just pretend. But no, that's amazing.
Yeah, I actually knew that, and that's like the whole reason it's on my bike.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So like logically thought out.
It is such a sick little symbol, and now you've recently discovered that your dad made
it. Yeah. I thought it was just like whipped off the internet or something, and then he was like, "Oh no, I made it," and I was like, "Oh, so it's mine."
That is so dope.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like especially if things go well in the future for me, and it becomes like a bigger thing in Elite or something like that, that can be like moved forward, I guess.
That's the merch brand.
Aimi Kenyon merch.
Yeah.
No, we're not quite there yet.
So what does your dad do for people to know?
Oh, my dad makes signs.
Yeah.
He makes road signs.
Which makes sense why he was making the stickers and stuff like that.
I feel like it's quite a random job.
Yeah, it is.
So does my mum. My mum and dad both work there. But yeah.
There's always going to be road signs that need to be made. Is it only like road signs?
Yeah, it's just road signs. But yeah, it's called Ansco signs, and I've always been fuming because the AN is like the start of my brother's name Andrew, and then it's SCO, which is the start of my other brother's name Scott. So like I'm just not included.
You're just not even included.
No.
He is making you custom stickers though, so
yeah, so I feel like it makes up for it.
Like, it's clearly quite creative if he's put that, and like that's almost like that's like art, you know?
Yeah, it is. It like looks like proper good as well. Like it fits like perfectly on the V10.
Yeah, we need to do like a helmet for this year or something like that.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I would love that. That would be amazing.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
We've just said it
It's
publicly.
happening.
So gonna have to make it happen.
Custom unicorn kit. Imagine that. World Champs kit.
Darko, listen, are you listening?
Are you listening? We're very pleased.
That would be sick. I'm kind of like, that was kind of it really for me in terms of like topics. Is there anything? Oh, here's another one.
Oh. The hard question.
It's not that pleasant.
No.
Jackson is off the team.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think I wanted to say the same. Like, it would have been really cool to just like carry on everyone together, and then I was like, oh, well, it's gonna be different. Yeah, I feel like he would have done really good this year as well. I feel like he didn't really have the best year, obviously, with coming in, just having surgery, and then he broke his wrist and stuff like that. I feel like he had a lot more to give, I guess. But I think he's got another team sorted for this year. I keep going to say next year, but it's this year.
Yeah, it's this
which
year.
is good. So I'm really happy he's got something else. But it would have been nice just to stay the same. But then I'm also excited to meet the new rider as well. Be new faces.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Like, I'm glad that he's got another team sorted as well. Like,
I would have felt like bad, even though there's nothing I could have done. I would have been like, oh.
But yeah, so it's good that he's got that ride, and you know, it is the kind of purpose of Pinkbike Racing
Was to like get people.
It's to move people on. It's not to
I don't
keep
really
people
want to move
forever.
on.
I know.
I'll
It's
just
like,
stay
well, that's the
here.
thing. Yeah, how do you feel about that? You know, because
I don't know. I think I'm really happy I'm still on the team this year, obviously. But wait, am I allowed to say that?
yeah,
Okay, I've just said it anyways.
we're doing it.
We're doing it. It's done. But then also, the whole point is to get me off next year, so I go somewhere else. But then I'm first year elite next year, so it'll be a little bit harder to find a team, I guess. But hopefully, if I do good enough this year, that won't be an issue. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's
Or
one-
they'll just keep me. And I'll just stay here
forever. I know. It's also good. It's good to know that there is a clock.
Yeah.
Again, at the same time, though, it's like good things have to come to an end. You know, eventually,
unfortunately. Yeah.
and it'll, you know, everyone's still going to be on the circuit, and
Yeah, and I feel like
around
we'll
each
all
other.
still get on and probably do trips like this and stuff like that. So it's not like we'll be totally like away from everyone. But it's weird to think, like, I feel really like comfortable here, if that makes sense. But change is also good.
It is, and it might be a bigger and better team.
I don't think it'll be better.
You can't even imagine it being
I
better.
can't imagine it being better.
I mean, that's pretty good. If you feel like that, then that's like the team's
Yeah.
the team's doing its job.
I think it's just nice. It feels quite like homely, I guess. Like I don't feel, I don't know. It just feels nice, like normal.
Yeah, that's the kind of the Ben Cathro effect. I think is
Yeah,
it's always very homely, and
yeah,
he's
warm and fuzzy.
he's really understanding, and he's got lots of empathy, and
Yeah,
he cares. He cares a lot.
does
so
care a lot.
I feel like if you shouldn't go on a team with like a ruthless manager.
Yeah, and I'll be
that's
like, oh no, I'm
like,
sorry.
oh, this is horrible. Yeah.
Like I want Ben back.
Yeah.
I feel like I've talked a lot longer than I thought I would. I'm quite tired.
It's quite
now.
easy though, isn't it?
It is.
Like,
It just kind of flows a little bit.
yeah, it's fun as well. I like it.
I could definitely sleep now.
You've had a big day.
I've had a big day. This is the least sleep I've had in like 5 months.
Yeah, so just to kind of wrap up then, like, what can we see from Aimi Kenyon now? Like, you're back riding. Like, what's
Back on it.
the plan? Like, what's the plan of attack?
Try and make up for the past 5 months of sitting on a couch watching Netflix.
Yeah, I don't feel like you have to be worried about that though, in a way, because like you could see it as lost time, but then you could also just see it as it's
Rest.
just downtime. Like,
Yeah.
people aren't doing that much riding in the UK.
Anyways,
Anyway.
over winter, yeah.
Like, you've always got people from New Zealand, but then there's pros and cons to.
Yeah, like when do you get a break? Like
when do
you
you
go
get a break?
straight from World Cup season straight to like your home season. I don't think I'd be able to do that. I think I'd
You've got plenty of time, and then that's that long. It's a long off season anyway, so you've got.
Yeah, I'm so happy for that. Like, imagine the first race is in March. I'd be like,
Oh shit!
oh no, this
We're
is not
almost
gonna go
there.
Well, yeah.
Which it normally is, and it's kind of
Yes, I'm very thankful for that.
totally different.
But yeah, just back on the bike, get some uplift days, hopefully some training camps away with the team, etc. The gym, salads, some nice healthy food.
Leaves,
Yeah.
vegetables.
Trees, mud, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about screen time as well. Like, that's
yeah,
that's kind of interesting, I think.
I think over the past 5 months, my screen time was atrocious. Like I don't even want to say what it was. But yeah. And then it's just nice to be back away again because like you don't even feel the urge to be on your phone. Like you don't miss it. There's nothing happening on there that there isn't anything better happening in person, if that makes sense.
Well, it's good that you got that perspective because I think a lot of people your age are really swallowed by it.
Yeah.
And it's
Like
very worrying.
stuck in a scroll hole.
Yeah, it's actually gnarly, you know, like.
Yeah, it's quite mental to think of.
And you're quite like, you can actually speak to people. Like I've met people your age that you can that's like holding eye contact or like having a conversation is like a big problem,
Yeah.
you know, and they can't do it. So it's almost like in schools, like instead of just teaching kids a bunch of facts that they're not going to remember, they should teach them how to talk to each other and communicate and be social in person because it's going to get lost otherwise. Cause
I feel like before this, I was like really like unbelievably shy. And I feel like yous have helped me a lot because you, Ben, and everyone, they're quite like out there, I guess. Like, I feel like you've helped me like come along as a person.
Yeah.
Like come out my shell a little bit, which is obviously really helpful.
In school as well, probably everyone's really insecure and you know, no one's looking at it, and that's kind of like you absorb that and you reflect that.
And you're like, oh.
So yeah, coming onto the circuit must have been like a bit of a culture shock almost.
Yeah.
Like you're some actually confident people, you know?
Wow, this is nice.
Yeah, totally. But no, yeah, screen time, I think just try and reduce it as much as possible if I had any advice for you.
I think, well, I didn't get like Snapchat or anything like that until I was like in like secondary school. Like a lot of my friends had like, I don't know, like phones and all that when they were like in primary school and stuff like that. And I never really like got anything like that.
Phones in primary school.
Yeah, like that blows
whole
my mind.
idea is gnarly.
Yeah. I feel like your childhood should be out. Like all I remember from like childhood is like playing out on scooters in the street and playing like Kirby. Have you ever played Kirby?
Yeah, Kirby's.
It's such a fun game.
Over a bus, extra
yes.
points. Yeah.
Like hide and seek and stuff like that. Like I couldn't imagine my childhood being on like watching Netflix or something like that, if that makes sense. I feel
Or just like talking to people over Snapchat or whatever.
Yeah,
like that's
like-
all you do, and it's just not healthy.
No, it's not. And it's, I don't know. You need to have some fun.
Outdoor fun.
Outdoor fun.
Real fun.
Good fun.
Meant so more vegetables,
Trees, leaves, stuff like that.
gym,
Bikes.
reduce screen time, bikes.
That's really it.
Sounds pretty good.
It sounds ideal, to be fair. I'm excited to get back racing, though. I think this weekend's also helped. I was a bit like, scary. But now I'm back on a bike. It's like, yes.
You can still ride a bike. It's like,
Yeah. First couple laps, I was like, oh, God, this is not going well. But I feel like I got into it pretty good, which is comforting.
perfect. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. You were so enthusiastic about coming on.
I was.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be here.
And yeah, all the best for the season.
Yeah, and I've done a podcast for Ben, so...
Yeah. Wait, he's done podcasts before. You've done a podcast
I've
before.
done a podcast before.
Yeah,
But
but-
it wasn't like face-to-face. It was on like...
All right.
It was on a video
Yeah, this
call.
is a real podcast.
It's a real podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Perfect. All right.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
bye.
Thank you. Yeah, I never know how to end them.
How do you
It's
end
impossible
this?
to end it.
Okay. Cut.
Okay, yeah. That's enough. Leave.
Okay, sorry.
Perfect. That'll do.